Hello and welcome to the LCB Smith Show. Our topic for today is Zen and the art of mindfulness. And my lovely guest is Teri West. Welcome to the show, Teri.
Hi, thank you for having me, Elsabi.
I'm going to give a very short introduction to Teri because there is just so much to say about her, and you will discover that during the interview and even more on my website. Teri West began entertaining people as a teenager in the 60s as a singer and guitarist in pubs and clubs. She sings a variety of melancholy and whimsical songs with guitar accompaniment, and she's a mean jaw harp player. Her cabaret show, In Bed with the Buddha, brings together a set of self-penned songs and personal stories inspired by a great deal of time Teri has spent sitting around with monks and nuns pondering this and that. Teri, an amazing journey you've had. How did you get into the practice of mindfulness?
Well, more or less by accident, although I think Jung especially said there was no such thing. I was camping in France with some friends who had worked with Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh in the 70s. He's a Vietnamese peace activist, monk and poet. And Colin went down to the village to buy some wine, as usual, and came back and said, does anybody fancy an audience with the Zen master? So you say yes to that kind of thing, don't you? So,
Indeed.
We drove up to Plum Village, which is where Thich Nhat Hanh settled after being exiled from Vietnam, and began to found a retreat centre there. And we spent a few days there, which lots of stories about that, some very mind-blowing experiences. But before we left, they were very, very small community of monks there, not many lay people, but they were selling books. There was a few books. And I bought a book called Breathe, You Are Alive, which was basically a handbook on how to practice meditation. And so I worked with that for about 3 years. And I also bought, when I got back to England, The Miracle of Mindfulness. And Thich Nhat Hanh is often described as the father of Western mindfulness, and the book was published 40 years ago. So I'm more or less certain that this sort of spread of mindfulness, and wonderful, in fact, that there's many people now teaching mindfulness as a way to overcome stress and to relax, is really down to that, I believe, the publication of that book and the fact that he was exiled from his own country and decided to find a way to offer Buddhist practice in a way that Westerners can access, and also particularly for the times we live in. So I've been a student of his ever since, and very, very happy that that accident happened all those years ago, nearly 30 years ago.
A fascinating book. I really can recommend people getting hold of the book. But you also became a full-time student at Europe's only school of storytelling at Emerson College. What is the storytelling, and how does that link to the mindfulness work that you do?
Well, that was another accident as well. Amazingly, I have had that kind of a life. I sort of bowled along from one thing to the other without ever really planning a career or anything much. But it reminded me of what I'd started doing as a teenager, which was entertaining people. And I'd always been ticked off by various people for talking too much. And I sort of realised that I'd found what I was really happy doing, which was telling stories. And the stories, I mean, are traditional stories that have come down through the oral tradition. And as far as the mindfulness practice informs that, very much, because when you're a storyteller, you're not an actor. You haven't got that fourth wall. So you are with your audience. You have to be aware of what the audience is feeling. And you have to also be very much in the present. I realized as soon as I started thinking, I wondered what happens next in this story, I would then be out of the story, as it were, and I'd be thinking. Whereas I realised I had to be very sure I knew the geography of the story, but that once I started thinking to myself, how shall I say this next bit, or what comes next, then I would kind of lose that being present for the audience. So I think that's where it comes in. Also being careful, aware of what story might be suitable for which audience at that particular time and place. Because although I think I've only had one experience where I've told the wrong story at the wrong time and the wrong place for the wrong people, it made me realise that that's another aspect to be mindful and to be aware of. To be able to change. Like I told a story that was really not very happy for two very young children in the audience, but I was a beginner then, and so I sort of thought, this is what I'm going to tell, and so I'm going to tell it. As I got more experience and began to think about where the mindfulness practice would come in, I realised that one has to be in the moment to react to what was going on at the present time. And I did see these two small twins start to cry. I did go and make it up with their father afterwards, and as I got more experience, I know I could have invented an angel to come down and change the ending, but we won't go into why or what. It is a great story, and it's fine for children over, say, 6 and 7, but under that, no, not really. Everybody dies in it.
You said something that really made sense to me, that the moment you start thinking about it, it goes off the rails. So part of the secret is to get your brain out of the way.
It's not so much getting brain out of the way, it may be getting the mind to stay on what you're doing rather than getting distracted with thoughts about, the future, and especially I think for performers, how am I looking, how am I doing? You have to, once you're starting to tell a story, you have to let go of all that. So it's not so much the brain out of the way, it's focus, being focused on what's happening in the moment, which is what about Zen meditation is about.
But there's another side of you where you trained as a professional clown, and how did that relate to being more mindful?
Well, firstly, let's erase the picture of a clown, the kind of clown work I've trained in, as the squirty flower and big shoes and big white face with a big smile on it. I've trained with a clown school, if you like, called Nose to Nose, and we're improvising, and it's theatrical clowning. So we do wear red noses, and we do wear clothes in a bizarre way, but they are ordinary clothes. They're not like, big pantaloons and things. And I think the first time I realised that mindfulness and the art of clowning, or our art anyway, the one we do in Nose to Nose, were very parallel, is my very first workshop session with a wonderful teacher. I was told to get a hat and a nose on and anything else I wanted to wear, and then do nothing. But in front of a group of people, so doing nothing is really difficult because we want to entertain, we want to engage the audience. So to stand there for absolutely nothing was really difficult. And while I was standing there doing my best to do nothing, I was aware that I was holding my breath also. And so it became very clear that the breathing, as a clown or a storyteller or practicing meditation, is the key. Sometimes if you're watching a singer or an actor and you feel your own breath getting tight, it may be because they are as well. The other aspect that was very evident is, again, being in the moment. If you're improvising, you have to be very, very aware of what's happening on stage with the other clowns. You can't drift off into your own thing because you haven't got a plan or anything. So you're creating something together in the moment. So listening is very important, and being in the moment. Once you start planning a joke, or you've had an idea of what you want to do with this little time on stage, it does become obvious to the audience that you're kind of rehearsing something. So again, it's being in the moment, being very aware of what's happening with the other clowns on stage, and also, again, a feel for the audience. They might be waking up, they might be calming down, so you kind of judge what you're going to do with those things. And again, the breathing. It's amazing to me how, even though I've been practicing for quite a long time, how in a situation where I have to concentrate, or whether something's likely to upset me or something, my breath will get very short, or might even hold your breath. So breathing again. Me and Arthur in France, well, I was unexpectedly, but joyfully, invited to go and spend a week in France with a multicultural group of clowns. We did 4 days workshops and fun, and then we did a show. And the theme of the week was intercultural joys and difficulties. And there were 5 languages in the group, and some people didn't quite understand other languages. We worked in English, but our show was to a French audience. And the clip is improvising, always. So just before coming on stage, we found out that we were going to be presenting a song in a language that our fellow clown didn't know, but his job was to interpret the song. And the only thing that Arthur and I decided on before we came on stage was that he wanted to be a famous ballet dancer, and I would sing in French, even though I'm English, because the audience is French, they don't understand it. But he wouldn't, he didn't know any French. And I just loved working with him, he's such a wonderful clown. And somebody said that you just let him do all the clowning, but why not? You know, if you've got somebody, I mean, I knew, because we've been working in a group all week, I knew what would happen when he was on stage, that he would be loud and wonderful and take it over, but I was happy to do that. So my job was, and he did say in some message or other that maybe I was subconsciously playing the white clown. And that's something people can look up if they like. There's in the old troops of clowns, they would all have a particular role to play. And there would always be a white clown who liked to try and keep things on track and keep the others in order. I mean, they could also be rude to him and disobey him, but his job was to keep the thing going and keep the clowns from getting too outrageous. So I was subconsciously playing the white clown and keeping our song on track, which I tend to do quite a lot. So it might be that's where I'm happy, is being bossy and keeping the story going, or whatever we're supposed to be doing. So I really love that. I love that improv, and I hope we get to work together.
You're also a cabaret singer.
Well, I wouldn't describe myself as a cabaret singer. I don't know, when anybody asks me what do you do, I think, oh God, you know, I do this and I do that and the other. I found that by accident as well. I was looking for ways to spend my husband died a few years ago, but he was a musician, and a few royalties come in every so often. And I was thinking, well, I should spend these little bits of royalties on ways to have just to enjoy myself without any other agenda at all, just things that might be fun. And while I was with the professional clown group, we'd been telephoned by somebody who runs an agency called Excess All Areas. And he was looking for clowns to go to Dubai. I can't remember why. I think we said we'd go, we'd do anything really, but we didn't. And then years later, I had an email from him, not years, maybe a year later, I had an email from him, because he obviously put us on the mailing list, to say that they were doing, he was running a cabaret singers workshop. And I thought, oh, that might be fun, I like singing. When I'm storytelling, I have to choose songs to suit the stories I'm going to tell. And I soon realised that cabaret singing was something very different, because I could sing whatever I liked, and the audiences are going to be sophisticated. They might not be, you've got to be aware of what you're doing. So, well, you still got to be aware of what you're doing. I went on that one day, which was great fun, and then offered a 2-week course with a showcase at the end of it, on really how to present. I mean, it's what happens in between the songs that's important. Anybody could sing a Frank Sinatra song and say, "This is for my next song, I'm going to sing blah de blah." But if you work on what you say in between songs as well, then that makes for a much more rounded presentation for an audience. I get quite bored if somebody just says, "Well, for my next song," or "This is a song by." I want to hear a bit more about why they're singing that song, or what the background was behind it. And also, I started writing my own songs again after many years, which have been inspired by my practice and time spent in the monasteries. And also, my husband was always a bit poking fun a little bit. He'd always say, "Have you been sitting around with the little fella again?" Because Thich Nhat Hanh is very small. But he used to say, "You should be writing Zen songs. You should be writing songs." And I never did when he was alive. And then after he died, I suddenly started thinking, yeah, I should. And I just got very inspired one day, sitting, looking at a poor bonsai tree that all I could see was a tortured tree. And so that was my first self song after years of writing songs about teenage angst. So I wouldn't call myself a cabaret singer. I'm somebody that enjoys getting up on an open mic stage and singing a song occasionally. But also, after I did get a clown act together called In Bed with the Buddha, which was basically based on my husband's death and things around death and the practice of mindfulness. And when I looked at the video, it didn't really work as a clown show. It might work as a stand-up act or something. But I thought, well, the songs and the material could make a longer cabaret set than just doing open mics. And so I was invited to take part in a show in November where there'll be 3 other acts, but I get a chance to offer this half-hour set, which I'm really looking forward to.
Indeed. You were ordained recently after many years of practicing mindfulness?
Yes. It means after a long time as a student and dutifully helping to offer the practice to other people. And after some training and a request to the monastery at Plum Village, I was okay to receive the lamp. They call it receiving the lamp. So when the Buddha died, he said, "Make of yourself a light." In other words, don't trust me or my teachings. You make yourself a light. So in our tradition, we're given then a lamp to signify that we can now call ourselves a Dharmacharya or a Dharma teacher. But of course, there's a belief, I think, that the Dharma teachers sit on a platform and expound the Dharma for an hour or so. Dharma talks are quite long. But I believe also, it has been said by many of the monks and nuns that, I look upon it as a long service medal, really. I've been given something that acknowledges the long time I've been a consistent student and a solid practitioner and offering the practice to people in my locality, because we have a group here. So, and also what I believe is that we need different sorts of Dharma teachers. I think the Dharma teachers, and Dharma means the Buddhist teachings, had to sit and talk for hours because people didn't have books. So I think nowadays people can read a lot of what might be in a Dharma talk, especially from Thich Nhat Hanh, because he's written 100 and something books. And maybe we need different sorts of Dharma. I would much prefer to be singing a song with a message to a bunch of people in a cabaret venue who don't even know they're actually learning something about Buddhist practice, than a group of people who are already converted. And I may even know more than I do, because I don't know anything about any other traditions. I only know what's worked for me. But that said, because I've been given this lamp, then if anybody asks me to come and give a talk or to lead a day, then I feel as though I have a responsibility to my UK community, and we're called the community of interbeing, which was a term coined by Thich Nhat Hanh, because most Buddhists are aware of the idea of non-self, but it's a difficult thing to get to grips with. So he coined the term interbeing, which basically means that we're all connected with everything else. So that's what really non-self is about. And I think that's brilliant. He's very good at turning things a bit on their head so that Western people in this century can get to grips with it. And also, when I did my ceremony, once we know that we've been nominated and that Plum Village has agreed, then there's a lovely ceremony where you write a poem to your teacher, and the person ordaining you then writes the poem back.
Lovely.
And in my poem, it just said that the true Dharma can be found in the performing arts. So I thought, phew, that's what I'm doing. And of course, as you said the other day, the fool is a very important person, both in the courts of kings, but also in the Buddhist tradition, the Zen tradition, particularly. They're there to ask questions which other people don't like to ask. And I have had that said to me, that I am a little bit subversive, and I can be relied on to say what other people are only brave enough to think.
Indeed.
I'll carry on just the way I am. But I am leading a weekend for families, which I'm very, very keen that children and young people have access to they have mindfulness in schools, but there is a deeper practice of mindfulness which emphasizes the need to be a part of a spiritual community. So secular mindfulness is great, but there is a deeper level to which you can take that practice if people are interested.
You're referring a lot to Buddhism, and Buddhists bow to each other and they kiss it. They kiss the ground. What is this about?
People who don't know much about Buddhism are resistant to, and I think I was at first, is this gesture of hands and bowing. And when I first learned what actually that means, at least in the Vietnamese tradition, I was really aware of how we can have all these prejudices and misconceptions. So when we join our palms like this, it's to remind ourselves to join body and mind together. So our mind is focusing on our breathing. And when we make a bow, we are saying in our minds, a lotus for you, a Buddha to be. Because every person, even the Donald Trumps and Kim what's his name in this world, we all contain the possibility to become awakened beings, to become Buddhas. So when we make a bow to our fellow practitioners, or when we're sitting down at the dining table, it's acknowledging the possibility for the other person to become a Buddha. And the other thing I think I was suffering under a big disillusion about, or misperception rather, was the prostrations on the floor, which is part of Buddhist practice. And I'd always thought, well, I'm not going to go and flatten myself on the floor in front of anybody. I think I believed it was some kind of worship. And the essence of Buddhism is actually you don't worship anything. You rely on your own experience to put these teachings into practice, and if they work, they work. You don't have to believe in a higher power or an afterlife or anything like that. So when it was first explained to me what touching the earth was about, I just loved it, because it's about getting in touch with the earth of your ancestors, and acknowledging that you are a part of the earth, and that you are. When I suddenly had that vision that my forehead was touching the same earth that the Buddha had walked on, and that many, many Buddhas before since, and my own ancestors, it was a very lovely, wonderful practice to do. And there are many different ways of touching the earth as well. So prostrations is a word, I don't know, that signifies when you prostrate, it's kind of not as active as touching the earth. When you touch the earth, you know you're touching the earth, and it's the same earth.
It does make more sense.
So you're in touch with everything.
It does make more sense. So there's so much around in the world around mindfulness. And if I didn't know about mindfulness, where on earth would I start with this practice?
Advice to anyone who wants to start the practice of mindfulness. Well, I do believe in the importance of having a group. I think any spiritual practice, you would need a group to share joys and suffering with. And also, it's a hugely supportive thing just to know that you're going to a group every week or whenever. So finding a group, and I think that's where the secular mindfulness, I know there are teachers who run 8-week courses, people get together as a group and learn what they learn, and then they go. So I would say that to find a group, and we have a website where there are groups all over the country, but also the book, The Miracle of Mindfulness, is a wonderful starting point. It really, truly is. He has, there is a great clarity and accessibility in Thich Nhat Hanh's writing. So I would recommend reading The Miracle of Mindfulness and looking on the, well, and it doesn't have to be our form of Buddhism. Any Buddhist group is practicing mindfulness. But I do think that our community is offering something new for Westerners, which isn't there maybe in the Tibetan tradition or the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order, etc. I don't know. I don't want to be seen to be being negative about other forms of Buddhism because they obviously bring a great deal of happiness to people. But
indeed, and there's a space for everyone. If people want to get hold of you, they can get hold of your Facebook page, which is In Bed with the Buddha.
I love that improv, and I hope we get to work together.
So if people want to get hold of you, this is the website on which they can contact you for both storytelling, for clowning, for the cabaret singing, and there's the show In Bed with the Buddha on the 8th of November. Teri, this has been lovely. It's been fascinating. I enjoyed listening to you. You are such a colourful character. And thank you for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. There's nothing more a storyteller enjoys. Hang on. There's nothing a storyteller enjoys more than talking about stuff, telling stories.
Indeed.
I did do an autobiographical show once, which I did enjoy, so I quite like talking about myself as well. So thank you for inviting me.
And this has been another lovely show. I'll see you again next week, same place, same time, Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Thank you and goodbye.